Friends, Greg, Newmaster, coming at you again with another action figure review. Today I have Neca's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2-pack of Master Splinter and the Shredder. Uh, I don't know about you guys. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and the Ninja Turtles were just one of the best things around at the time. If you were fortunate enough to, begin reading the comic books that were started out indie, like sort of underground, and then it just exploded in the late 80s and the beginning of the 90s with the cartoon, then the video games for Nintendo, NES. The classic arcade game, which was just amazing, that you would find in any reputable arcade. Just like the side-scrolling, just awesome game where you could be any of the turtles, and the X-Men game was like the same way, or the Simpsons game, which most arcade games were like at the time. But Ninja Turtles were everything. So Turtles was actually one of the first films I ever saw in the movie theater. Between that and Ghostbusters 2. So it really holds a soft spot in my heart. Just the animatronics by Jim Henson and his team was certainly mind-blowing at the time. And they really haven't just been able to capture that energy since, with just how magnificent that first and even the second film was with The Secret of the Ooze. So I was very happy to get this 2-pack. They're starting to hit target, so keep an eye out. So let's review these babies, because I don't have Shredder and I don't have Splinter, so I just have the 4 movie turtles, so I was happy when this popped up. And by the way, NECA, man, they just kill it with their sculpts. Their sculpts with 6-7-inch figures, just magnificent, beautiful. The sculpt, the paint, and even the level of articulation on these figures, they're just gorgeous, gorgeous action figures. I have the NECA Superman, Batman, and Green Lantern versus Alien and Predator, and those are some of the best DC toys I own, in my opinion. Some of the best DC action figures ever made. So let's get on with it. There is the original poster, image on the poster with the turtles popping their heads out of the sewers. We got Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello, and Raphael. Nice original logo on the top there in the box. Nickelodeon, because Nickelodeon owns the licensing to the turtles now. We got Splinter on the side, and there he is on the bottom as well. There is the back, which has various images of Splinter, and he's holding nunchucks, a slice of pizza, because everybody likes pizza, New York pizza, especially with the turtles. And he's holding the TCRI ooze canister. And I was most excited to get Shredder, because this figure just looks beautiful. I mean, just look at his helmet and the chainmail and the spike and the sculpting of the metal and his shoulder blades. And he comes with the staff, and then you can unmask him and reveal his scarred face, which was scarred by Splinter himself, when in the movie he was just a rat who was owned by Hamato Yoshi, where in the cartoon he is Hamato Yoshi. And I can't remember if in the comics he is Hamato Yoshi who's transformed into the rat, or if it's like the movie, but I can't remember. And then it says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Splinter versus the Shredder. Now you can catch America's favorite green teens in their first live-action blockbuster film. After wading in a puddle of radioactive waste, these radical reptiles are transformed into New York City's greatest crime-fighting quartet, in part thanks to the training of their skilled sensei, the similarly transformed rat Splinter. Their biggest enemy, the Shredder, ruthless leader of the Foot Clan, a criminal organization that's terrorizing the city. These highly detailed action figures stand at 6.5 to 7 inches tall and feature 30 points of articulation, movie-accurate accessories, interchangeable hands, and intricately tailored tattered robe and cape. So that's what it says on the back of the box. Here's the top of the box, and let's bust this baby open. Yeah, so Neca, they normally bound everything by twisty ties, so hopefully I can get this out of there pretty easily and see if we can get a good look. So here's Shredder's cape, and wow, that just looks beautiful, and they separately bag that, so that's cool. It's nice and metallic. Actually, we'll take a look at that first because I have it right now. And wow, just like, man, the level of detail on this cape is stunning. It is double coated, so it's not two pieces of fabric. We have wires sewn in. Just look at the level of sewing on the folds. And oh, there's even a clasp. It's not even a button or Velcro. There's a nice clasp, if you can see that right there. So this thing is gorgeous. So that's just like a really nice accessory of Shredder's cape. Let's see how he... Okay, so they actually didn't put twisty ties to hold them in. They're just the classic little plastic sort of ties there. So let's see if I can get this out without damaging the figure. That's always the tricky part. There we go. And let's take a look at Shredder first, because he just, like, this guy looks amazing. Absolutely amazing. Oh, and he's bound by the feet as well on his greaves. Wow. This is just beautiful. What a beautiful action figure. I mean, what a time. I say this always in my videos, but what a time to be alive in terms of being an action figure. I mean, just the level of detail and articulation and paint that they have compared to when I was a kid in the mid-80s and the 90s is just something to behold. I mean, so like Shredder, Shredder is painted with this sort of maroon, purplish, reddish, cloak or gi, and it has glitter in it, just to like make it sparkly and to show off. And oh my, it's just, wow, this thing is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Just, if you guys missed out on this figure individually, now is the time to get it. Like, if you are a collector of action figures, if you are a collector and a lover of the Ninja Turtles, you have to get this Shredder. And let's see if his mask comes off. Yes, it does. I just want to be very careful to not... Wow, look at that. Look at that ugly mug. That just looks wonderful. Look at just the detailed paint in his eyes. He has the dark circles under his eyes. He has the scar across his nose and lower cheek and mouth. It is something to behold. And here's his face cage. Just looks great. Unbelievable. And he even has this little sort of extra piece for like a neck covering. But let's see if I can get this back on. Looks like there's clips on the inside here. If you guys can, you can't see that on the camera, but that's all right. Just gonna carefully. All right, I'll do that after the video because it's gonna take me too long to get that on. But let's see what it looks like with this cape on. Mind you, and that was another big selling point for me as well, is this cape, which just looks wonderful. And I'm not really sure I think the cape just drapes over his shoulder pads. I mean, there are these clasps on here, but I'm just not sure if that's supposed to clasp it together. I'm not exactly sure how you're supposed to put the cape on exactly, because in the movie, I think, what's his name, Tenso or something? I can't remember Shredder's right-hand man, but he puts the cape around his shoulders, but it just looks really good. Wonderful. And there's even, this is integrated, this is cloth right here around his belt. Let's go over the articulation. The joints are really tight, so shoulders go about that high. We got double jointed elbows, but he doesn't have a full bend there. There is also elbow swivel, but you want to be careful. Rotation in the wrist, and there is a hinge in the wrist, but I want to just be very careful not to break his spikes off here. But yeah, great articulation. The gauntlets spin as well, so that's just like on there like so. He has torso articulation. It's on a ball joint, it looks like. The head goes down really far. Doesn't go up too far. It is on a ball joint, so we have that swivel like that as well. Really high kick he has there. I feel like he can do a straddle, but I don't want to push it. So as of now, that's as far as I can get. Let's see, we do have double joints in the knees, but I'm just trying to be very careful with this to not break it. There we go. Yeah, so there's the double jointed knee. Look at his feet, even his little footies, that ninjas would wear. We got pivot in the ankle, which is awesome, and we got a hinge there as well. So really, really fantastic level of articulation. Like I said, this is a figure that you don't really want to play with because you just may damage it. It's just such a nice piece. He looks great. So I'm just going to put Shredder there, and let's get a look at his accessories. So, I mean, he comes with a lot of accessories, too. So let's see here. I'm going to have to put a new blade on my knife. All right, so what do we got here? We have his spear, which looks really nice. Get a nice look at that. Just a very standard spear. He comes with a knife. He comes with 1, 2, 3, 4 additional hands. There's a sheath for the knife as well. And Shredder gets a slice of pizza. Oh, no, that must be for Splinter. So they put Splinter's slice of pizza on Shredder's side of the box for whatever reason. But anyhow, so there are his accessories, and let's get Splinter out and get a good look at him. Ooh. Yeah, so they have this hooked in there with... They're not the twisty ties, but they're like the plastic little wires. And Splinter looks great, too. Just really... Neca, they just do such a fantastic job. And this costs around $50 for the 2-pack. So get it now. If you see it at Target, they have like a whole Neca section in every Target, like back behind the books and like the electronics, like around that area. So that's where you'll find it if you didn't know that already. But yeah, look at just the detail of the shading and the paint looks wonderful. Splinter looks great. He's real tiny. So here are the two figures together. Just look at how much smaller Splinter is compared to Shredder. Oh, there's even articulation on Splinter's feet. So yeah, Shredder towers over Splinter. His robe is like just a ratty sort of cloth, and like a canvas cloth. And there's what he looks underneath. Lots of articulation in the torso, it appears. So there's double torso articulation. We have it in the waist, and then we have it in the upper torso as well. I guess where his pecs would be. This whole thing is cloth. So, and this is like his belt looks like just like a little black piece of ribbon. And let's get a look at the articulation. So we have like double neck articulation. There's in the head, that's on a ball joint, and there's a separate piece underneath. So we have a lot of articulation in Splinter. And it's hard to see what his shoulders look like, but there they are because of his gi or his robe or tunic or kimono, whatever you want to call it. I'm actually going to take this off so you guys can get a good look at Splinter's articulation and his sort of rat body, because I'm afraid to go through it and like snap his arm off because it's stuck or whatever because of this. Let's see if I can get this off easily. Splinter also comes with interchangeable hands. Yeah, so this is like having trouble getting it off. Just, yeah, like the level of craftsmanship with these figures is just wonderful. Just truly, Neca does such a good job, and you're really getting bang for your buck. So yeah, look at this articulation. So we got one joint there, and then we have another in his neck. So he can kind of just fully stretch out there. Obviously you have the full rotation in the shoulder. There is a joint here in his shoulder, but it's really hard to move. So they did articulate the shoulder. It's just very difficult to lift it up. So we can go about that high. There's elbow swivel. He has really good range of motion in the elbow. Oh, actually, he has double joints in his elbows, believe it or not. That seems like a little bit overkill, but whatever. That looks great. Full rotation in the wrists. And there is a peg there, so his wrist can bend down really far. You just want to be careful because it's so small. I just feel like I'm going to snap it off. So you want to be very careful. Let's see with his legs. Leg goes up about that high. There is a hip joint, so we have a little bit of articulation, and he can do about that much of a split. Single joint in the knee, but the knee is sculpted, so there's already a bend in it. And then he has 1 and 2 joints in the feet. So he has that sort of animalistic look of where the animals kind of go up on the balls of their feet. So, yeah, so he's got double joints there. And then we have his tail, which has a wire in it, which is a nice touch, I must say. So you can articulate his tail, and it spins there as well. And I don't know how well this guy is going to stand, though. That's my problem. So I'm going to have to make him... Oh, yeah, so if you make him flat-footed, if you make Splinter flat-footed, and you can kind of use his tail to, like, hold him up, because I was afraid he was just going to fall over. And here he is compared with Leonardo. That's movie Leonardo with him. So Leonardo is pretty big compared to him and just a little bit shorter than Shredder. So very, very nice figure. And let's get a look at the rest of the accessories, which look like some pretty fun accessories, to tell you the truth. So we have... So Splinter comes this is a first for accessories for me with action figures. Is Splinter comes with a little pair of slippers that he can put on. So I'm actually going to put those on right now, and they just slip on really nice. So that's great. That's really awesome. Yeah, so Splinter gets a pair of slippers if his little footsies get cold. And what else do we have? So there they both are. So that's very nice. That's a really nice touch by Neca. I love that there. We get a pair of nunchucks, which look very similar to Michelangelo's. I believe they're the same exact ones. Yeah, so they're the nunchucks with the wire in it, the same ones that Michelangelo has. So that's really nice. So he gets a pair of those. And what else does he have for you guys to see? And we have the TCRI ooze, which transforms Splinter and the rest of the fellows into turtles. And there's no ooze in it, believe it or not, which I thought there was green ooze in it, but there isn't. It's just the canister. Still really nice accessory regardless. And it even has writing on it, radioactive material. Wonderful. And he also comes with that slice of pizza, because the Turtles and their master Splinter has to have a slice of pizza, and there it is. And it's all messed up because this is the part where they cut the piece of pizza and Leonardo's cutting it with a sword, and then they serve it out and it lands on his head. And then in addition to that, Splinter comes with 3 more sets of hands. If you want to take a look at that, everybody. So we have pointing hands. There are holdy hands for the nunchucks. And there you go. So that is my review for the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2-pack of Master Splinter and the Shredder from the movie, from the first movie. If you love these movies like I did and many of the kids in the 90s, I highly recommend these figures while they are still at a bearable price. Just for Shredder alone, it's worth it. And Master Splinter is fantastic too. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and God bless you all. Thank you.